Os têxteis acompanham o homem desde sempre e são uma parte importante da cultura de um povo. O Museu dos Têxteis de Toronto quer dar a conhecer as diferentes técnicas desta arte que começou com os primeiros povoadores do Canadá. São quase 2 séculos de história presentes em dezenas de objetos que vão estar em exposição ao público até 31 de março.
Initially, we created them for warmth and for shelter and for covering, and I think in doing that, there was this innate desire, I think, to be creative and to express our creativity through the work that we do, making textiles. And over centuries and millennia, textiles have grown in very many different ways, but people still make things like baskets, which are just made out of fiber with a pattern, all the way up to the most elaborate fashion from fashion houses in Europe. So I think there's a lot of different motivations that people have, and a lot of, certainly family and the desire to make things for other people, for your family members, your children, and also to have something that will carry on beyond your lifetime, that will be passed down. In this exhibition, you can see a multiplicity of textile traditions that are practiced in Canada, which include quilting, weaving, embroidery, beadwork, basketry, and needlework. You can also discover how textiles move with people and reveal the cultural how cultural traditions evolve and adapt as people move through different environments.
Os novos imigrantes trouxeram materiais, técnicas e utensílios que até então não eram conhecidos no país. Foi o caso dos europeus que trouxeram o cânhamo para o Canadá e que foram responsáveis pelo grande desenvolvimento desta indústria.
For example, we have settlers, European settlers. When they arrived, they brought sheep and fiber-producing plants, flax and hemp, and along with that, their hand-weaving and quilting traditions and traditional tools with them. And they established cloth-making industries in Canada, which evolved and grew over the years.
As decorações florais feitas com miçangas são outra das heranças europeias que rapidamente se difundiu pelo país e que acabou por chegar aos povos indígenas que viram neste tipo de arte uma forma de expressar a sua identidade e uma fonte de sobrevivência. As malhas deram origem a colchas com diferentes padrões e cores e dos vimos surgiram cestos e bijuteria. Aqui também podem encontrar a famosa faixa típica do Quebec, a ceinture fléchée.
In fact, the Haudenosaunee people had a tradition of finger weaving belts and bags using animal hair, and this technique was observed by Quebec women who it's quite likely copied this technique, the finger weaving, to create the sashes, the colorful sashes that evolved into the ceinture fléchée.
Um dos objetos mais raros da exposição é uma colcha que foi feita na altura da Grande Depressão Económica, que contém dezenas de nomes de uma comunidade de Ontário descendente de escravos.
It's made by, in 1929 by women of the North Buxton community in southern Ontario. And Buxton was a settlement of a black settlement that was started by escaped slaves, and many of the descendants of those slaves live in that community. And the women formed sewing groups and stitching groups and created the signature quilt, which is actually for fundraising purposes. And people would pay a certain amount of money to have their name on the quilt. And it was done to support the community and to fund to provide money for those members of the community that might be in need.
Os tapetes, que inicialmente eram utilizados como colchas pelos imigrantes dos Estados Unidos da América, tornaram-se populares no século XX e ainda hoje são comuns em Manitoba, Nova Scotia, New Brunswick e Prince Edward Island. O Museu Têxtil do Canadá tem 40 anos de atividade e gostava de alargar o seu espólio de peças de origem portuguesa.
We just have three pieces in our collection from Portugal, historic pieces, but we are a textile museum that has built our collection through the generosity of our donors. We don't have a significant acquisition budget, so we are interested in representing all of the communities, especially those that are communities in Canada. And we would love to hear from the Portuguese community if they have any textiles that they would like to offer to us.